Man, bro, did a song with Lul Timm. Man, y'all, shut y'all. They ain't gonna do shit that niggas up, man.
Lul Timm responded to people being mad at Chief Keef and NBA YoungBoy just announcing a new collab dropping soon. This is something to talk about.
The streets woke up to something they never expected. 1 minute it was just regular rap talk online, and the next minute a storm hit the timeline. The man tied to King Von's passing was suddenly speaking loud, calling out OBlock like it was nothing. And now people are asking, did he just push things too far? It all kicked off when Chief Keef and NBA YoungBoy appeared on the same record. That alone had folks staring at their phones in disbelief. For some, it felt bigger than music. It felt personal. And when the visuals from the studio surfaced, showing both of them cool, relaxed, vibing like history didn't exist, that's when the block really started buzzing. The track, titled Rooms, produced by Mike Will Made It, dropped like a surprise detonation. No warning, no slow build, just boom. And within minutes, social media was in chaos. Blogs posted, fans argued, comment sections turned into war zones. This wasn't just two artists experimenting. In the eyes of many, this was a message.
Lul Timm just dissed OTF, OBlock, and anyone else who got a problem with NBA YoungBoy and Chief Keef doing a song with each other. He said they doing all that crying over a song and they ain't gonna do nothing, so they just need to go get them some money. It's crazy, grown men really mad about a song. OTF associate said he ain't gonna listen to Chief Keef no more because of this, and Ike Munner believed if certain people was alive, this wouldn't be happening. And he just saying anything because Keef was cool with YoungBoy while King Von was alive. But Puda said it's pretty zesty to get this mad over a dude making a song with another dude. And Keef homie spoke out on this situation, and y'all see he said a lot. But the main thing he said was Sosa don't owe them no loyalty because they snakes and disloyal. Now Keef been silent about this whole situation, but people noticed he changed his profile picture to B Money. And people said he did this to honor his birthday. But others feel it got a deeper meaning, because why out of all his birthdays he decided to change his profile picture now? People are saying he did this to remind OTF and OBlock why he don't mess with them.
To understand why it hit so hard, you've got to understand who Chief Keef is. Keith Farrell Cozart, born August 15th, 1995, isn't just another rapper. He's widely seen as the architect of drill music. Raised in Parkway Gardens on Chicago's South Side, later known as OBlock after the loss of O.D. Perry, Sosa's name carries weight in that area. He was recording music as a child, even using his mom's karaoke machine. By his mid-teens, while dealing with legal issues and home confinement, he was uploading raw freestyles online that reshaped hip-hop's sound. The heavy beats, the auto-tune laced hooks, the unfiltered storytelling about growing up surrounded by pressure and danger. That formula, it spread worldwide. By 2012, Chief Keef wasn't just buzzing, he was dominating. His mixtape Back from the Dead and the breakout hit I Don't Like exploded after Kanye West jumped on the remix alongside Pusha T, Jadakiss, and Big Sean. That move sent the track to the Billboard Hot 100 and sparked a massive deal with Interscope Records reportedly worth millions. His debut album Finally Rich followed, featuring artists like 50 Cent and Wiz Khalifa, while Love Sosa eventually went multi-platinum. But here's what gets overlooked. He was just 16, carrying the spotlight and the tension of his neighborhood at the same time. As his fame grew, so did the risks around him. Eventually, he relocated to a quieter suburban area, stepping away physically from OBlock. Some say that move changed everything. Others say it was survival.
Starting to see why people had a saying that the best thing Chief Keef could have done was distance himself from OBlock and get out of Chicago.
Now enter NBA YoungBoy, Kentrell Deshaun Gaulden from Baton Rouge, one of the most streamed rappers in the world. On paper, a collaboration between him and Chief Keef sounds like a huge win, but history makes it complicated. YoungBoy has had a long public rivalry with Lil Durk and OTF, a crew deeply connected to OBlock. There have been diss tracks, indirect shots, and constant tension. YoungBoy has mentioned King Von in past music, and Von wasn't just another artist. He was a central figure for OBlock after Chief Keef stepped back. So when fans saw Keef working alongside someone viewed as a rival to that circle, emotions ran high. Some supporters felt betrayed, others saw it as growth, but nobody saw it as random. Then things escalated further. A clip surfaced showing the man known as Lul Timm, the individual widely reported to have been involved in the altercation that led to King Von's passing, speaking openly about that night. He didn't look shaken. He didn't look hesitant. He spoke calmly. That energy alone had people reacting heavy. Online chatter exploded again. People started asking, is this taunting? Is this closure? Or is this just someone telling their side? Nothing about it felt small, especially with the new music drop happening around the same time. From a commentary perspective, it looks like layers stacking up. You've got Chief Keef, once the face of OBlock, collaborating with someone tied to years of tension.
Boy, niggas mad, bro. Did a song with Lil Timm. Man, y'all, shut y'all. They ain't gonna do shit that niggas up, man.
You've got resurfaced footage stirring emotions. And you've got fans interpreting every move like it's chess. Was Rooms just music? Or was it signaling a shift in alliances? That's what the debate really is. One thing is clear. This wasn't just another song release. It hit deeper than charts and streams. And the reactions prove it. The numbers alone showed this wasn't a quiet drop. Rooms pulled in 1.3 million YouTube views in just 4 days, over 1 million spins on TikTok, and more than 300,000 Spotify streams on day one. Ocean, Mike Will Made It lined it up for his upcoming album, R3, set for March 20th, 2026, and the production knocked. YoungBoy floated on the hook with that emotional auto-tune vibe he's known for, while Sosa stepped in talking survival, money, and pressure from rivals. Musically, it delivered. But the block didn't care about streaming stats, not even a little bit. OBlock and OTF affiliates wasted no time voicing how they felt. From their perspective, this wasn't just business. It looked like betrayal. Some voices close to that circle claim Keef was switching sides, choosing industry moves over loyalty. One affiliate even posted that OBlock would stand strong without him, making it clear they felt abandoned. Others went as far as saying he shouldn't step foot back on the block again, which is intense, especially since he hasn't been living in Chicago for years. The emotions behind those reactions felt real. To them, this collaboration wasn't neutral. It felt disrespectful, especially considering the tension between YoungBoy's camp and figures connected to OBlock since late 2020. In neighborhoods where history runs deep, perception matters more than explanation. It doesn't always matter what you meant. It matters how it's received. And Rooms landed heavy. At the center of all this is loyalty. Who stood with who? Who helped when it counted? Who stayed solid? Because for some people watching, this isn't about one song. It's about years of unresolved tension, financial disputes, and relationships that slowly cracked apart. To really understand why Rooms hit a nerve, you've got to rewind. The friction between Chief Keef and parts of OBlock didn't begin with NBA YoungBoy. It goes back years, to when Sosa first started seeing major money and opportunities. Around that time, Lil Durk, born Dirk Banks in 1992, was also rising from Chicago's South Side, specifically Inglewood's 300 block, not far from OBlock. Both had ties to the same broader circles, both were coming up in the same era, and for a moment, it looked like they might run the city together. Dirk has publicly acknowledged that Keef helped shine a spotlight on Chicago during the early drill wave. Back then, it looked unified. Two young artists from tough conditions pushing forward. But by around 2013, things reportedly shifted. There were rumors circulating that Dirk caught a legal case and needed around $10,000 for bond, and Keef didn't step in. Similar talk surfaced about another OBlock affiliate needing help with bond money that didn't come through. Now, to be clear, these are stories that have floated around for years. Different sides have different versions. But for people still living in high-pressure environments, perception becomes reality fast. From their angle, if someone makes it out and doesn't look back financially, that can sting. Then another layer got added. There were claims that Boss Top allegedly entered Keef's home and took items from him. There were also reports that King Von allegedly took firearms from Keef at one point. Again, these accounts have been discussed publicly, but perspectives vary. What's undeniable is that trust between certain individuals appeared to fracture. At that point, it seemed like Sosa emotionally checked out from the politics of the block. He had already relocated years earlier for safety and career reasons. Step by step, the distance grew, physically and mentally. One of the most painful moments came in 2014 when his cousin Blood Money passed away. Keef has spoken publicly about how that loss changed his mindset. It reportedly made him focus more on growth and long-term survival rather than staying tied to neighborhood conflicts. So when Rooms dropped, it wasn't just about two rappers making music. For some, it reopened old wounds that never fully healed. From the outside looking in, this feels like layers of history colliding with present-day moves. Business decisions meeting street codes, personal pain meeting public platforms. And when those worlds mix, the reactions are never quiet. Back in 2015, Chief Keef hit a turning point. He had already been thinking about what life might look like outside Chicago's pressure zones, but one moment really sealed it. Police reportedly surrounded him over something as small as a pop tire on a motorbike. Multiple officers, heavy weapons drawn, all over that. That situation made him pause and say, enough is enough. Soon after, he packed up and relocated to Los Angeles for good. He later described LA's calmer environment as a major shift for his mental health and creativity. From his perspective, it was the best move he could have made. And looking at how chaotic things stayed back home, some people understand why he chose distance. Out west, Sosa built a completely different lifestyle. After parting ways with Interscope in 2014, he leaned into independence. He explored art collecting, something he picked up during rehab, and started moving with a quieter focus. In 2022, he launched 43B with BMG and RBC, releasing projects like Almighty. So too in 2024 that showed growth and polish. The energy was different. Less street politics, more controlled strategy. He hasn't returned to Chicago in years. Between legal concerns and real safety risks, the separation stayed firm. But for some individuals still living on the block, still dealing with losses and legal trouble, that absence didn't look like evolution. It looked like abandonment. From their angle, it felt like he made it out and shut the door behind him. That tension had been simmering for a decade. Then November 6th, 2020 happened. Outside the Monaco Lounge in Atlanta, an altercation unfolded that changed everything. King Von, a central voice for OBlock and signed to Lil Durk's OTF, got into a confrontation with Quando Rondo's crew in the parking lot. Von wasn't just another rapper. To many, he was the storyteller who brought OBlock's struggles to life on records like Welcome to OBlock. Surveillance footage later showed Von approaching Quando Rondo's vehicle and striking him, which quickly escalated into a chaotic fight. In the middle of that scene, Timothy Leaks, known as Lul Timm, a close associate of Quando Rondo, fired shots. Von was struck multiple times during the exchange. What followed was confusion and panic. Off-duty officers in the area responded. Several people were injured. Tragically, 3 individuals lost their lives that night, including King Von, who was 26. Timothy Leaks was also injured and later taken into custody. He faced serious charges connected to the incident and posted bond in March 2021. For over 2 years, the case hung over him while the legal process unfolded. Then in August 2023, Fulton County prosecutors dismissed the charges before the case reached indictment. They cited Georgia's self-defense laws, pointing to footage that showed Von initiating physical contact. Authorities ultimately concluded the evidence supported a self-defense claim. Timm's attorney, Noah Pines, publicly confirmed the dismissal, stating the case ended prior to indictment. From a legal standpoint, that closed the matter. But emotionally, for OBlock supporters, it didn't feel finished at all. To them, the person they believed was responsible for their friend's passing walked free. And after the dismissal, Lul Timm didn't disappear from the spotlight. He released music, appeared in interviews, and posted content that some viewers interpreted as provocative. He even appeared alongside Charleston White in viral moments that kept tensions alive online. From a commentary angle, this is where everything connects back to rooms. You've got unresolved grief. You've got long-standing loyalty questions. You've got public alliances forming in ways that certain communities see as disrespectful. After the charges were dismissed, Lul Timm didn't exactly move in silence. He appeared in interviews, dropped music, and at times received public praise from controversial figures like Charleston White. For supporters of King Von, that felt like salt being poured on an open wound, again and again. Then, just 3 days after Rooms hit the internet, things escalated. On February 16th, 2026, DJ Academics posted a clip that had social media in a frenzy before people even finished watching it. The short video showed Lul Timm looking straight into the camera, directly addressing OBlock and OTF. There was no coded language, no subtle tone. It came off bold and confrontational. He told them to be quiet, told them to move on. For many viewers, that crossed a line. This is someone widely known for being involved in the 2020 incident that led to King Von's passing. Von, to OBlock supporters, wasn't just another artist. He represented their story, their identity, their pride. So seeing Timm speak so confidently, almost dismissively, triggered strong reactions across the culture. And then came the phrase that really stirred debate: get some money. On the surface, it sounds like a generic flex, but in context, many people felt it carried deeper meaning. Around that time, Lil Durk, head of OTF and one of the most influential voices tied to that circle, was dealing with serious federal charges. In October 2024, authorities arrested him near Miami in connection to an alleged murder-for-hire conspiracy. Prosecutors claimed the plan was connected to retaliation efforts following King Von's death. The situation reportedly involved an attempted targeting of Quando Rondo, though his cousin, Lul Timm, tragically lost his life during a 2022 incident in Los Angeles. Several other individuals associated with OTF, including Kayvon London Grant, DeAndre Dontrell Wilson, Keith Jones, David Bryan Lindsay, and Asa Houston, were also charged federally. The case painted a picture of organized coordination, including allegations about travel and financial transactions. These are still legal matters playing out, but the headlines alone shook the hip-hop world. So when Timm referenced people ducking indictments, many interpreted it as a direct jab. The message, as some saw it, was, while you're upset about music, bigger legal storms are happening. That comment hit hard. The response from OBlock supporters was immediate. Online platforms lit up. Some creators posted heated reactions. Others hinted at consequences. Diss tracks were teased. The energy felt tense, divided straight down the middle. At the same time, a portion of the hip-hop community defended Chief Keef. Their argument, business is business. If OBlock had already distanced themselves from him years ago, how could they now dictate who he collaborates with? Some pointed out past conflicts, allegations about theft, broken trust, and unresolved disputes, suggesting the loyalty conversation wasn't one-sided. From that perspective, they felt it was unfair to criticize Keef for making strategic industry moves while staying physically removed from danger. Meanwhile, media outlets like Hot New Hip Hop covered the online discourse, noting that despite the fiery exchanges, no confirmed physical incidents had occurred. At that stage, it was all digital, intense, emotional, but contained to screens, and that's where things stood. Two narratives clashing. One side viewing the collaboration and comments as disrespect layered on top of grief. The other seeing it as business, growth, and freedom from old ties. Legally, cases had been decided. Musically, records were climbing. But culturally, the debate was nowhere near settled. At the end of the day, this whole situation exposed something bigger than one song, one interview clip, or one viral moment. It pulled the curtain back on the contradiction sitting right at the center of street loyalty in hip-hop. Chief Keef left OBlock nearly a decade ago. From his side, he moved for survival. He relocated, built a life in LA, focused on his kids, launched his own label, and operated independently. He stepped away from chaos and created distance. That's what people always say they want, to make it out and live in peace. While he was gone, there were allegations of betrayal, stories about his home being violated, claims that trust was broken, public tension. At some point, the relationship between him and parts of the block clearly fractured. So now the question becomes, if someone is pushed away, criticized, and separated for years, can you still control who they work with? From OBlock supporters' perspective, it's about loyalty, codes, and standing with your people no matter what. From another angle, it's about survival and growth, about leaving old politics behind before they swallow you whole. And when you look at how things unfolded, legal cases, indictments, tragic losses, it forces uncomfortable questions. Because the same codes people defend are also tied to outcomes that changed lives forever. Lil Durk facing federal charges, multiple associates indicted, King Von losing his life in a moment that escalated too fast. These aren't small headlines. These are life-altering events. And while fans argue online about who betrayed who, real consequences are still playing out in courtrooms. As for Lul Timm, opinions stay split. Some see him as someone who acted in defense during a chaotic situation. Others see him as a figure who represents deep pain for OBlock. And then there are those who think he keeps feeding the fire with public comments that only make tensions worse. No matter where you stand, his name is now permanently attached to one of the most talked about chapters in modern drill history. What this saga really shows is the tension between loyalty and self-preservation, between holding on to old alliances and choosing a new path, between pride and peace. And the truth? Those cracks aren't sealing up anytime soon. With new music constantly dropping, legal battles still unfolding, and social media amplifying every word, every lyric, and every look, the divide only grows wider. In the drill scene especially, the past doesn't just fade away, it lingers. It waits, and sometimes all it takes is one new track for everything to resurface again. Now I want to hear from you. Where do you stand on all this? Was this just business, or did it cross a line? If you made it this far, make sure you hit that like button, share this video with someone who's been following the drama, and subscribe so you don't miss what's next. And if you're ready for even more celebrity drama and breakdowns, tap the next video you see on your screen right now. Trust me, you don't want to miss that one. I'll see you on the next one.